rule?
Well, I have been working a long time, and I am kind of hungry.
There's 1,000 kids, 2 parents. You figure it out.
A modern-day Brady Bunch type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't like to be associated?
My Two Dads wasn't just another sitcom about unconventional families. It was a tightrope walk between progressive storytelling and network panic, a show that asked America to accept what it barely understood. Behind the laugh track and the perfectly decorated loft, nothing was simple. Casting wars erupted, scripts got censored into oblivion, and one decision almost killed the show before it aired. These are 20 secrets about My Two Dads that stayed buried for decades. The bonus. A prop that nobody wanted became worth a fortune. Buckle up. This gets complicated fast. Number 20. The premise was considered too risky for network television.
What you are about to see hasn't happened in over 50 years. A live presentation of a musical made especially.
Welcome back to ZD Blogs US. Do you read books of Daniel Steele?
Before My Two Dads ever made it to air, NBC executives were terrified. The concept, 2 men raising a teenage girl together after her mother's death, felt dangerously close to territory networks refused to explore in 1987. The fear wasn't just about unconventional parenting. It was about what audiences might assume, what conservative groups might protest, what advertisers might reject. Danielle Steele's novel had inspired the premise, but translating it to television meant walking through a minefield blindfolded. Producers pitched it as a father-daughter story with comedic potential, carefully avoiding any language that might trigger network anxiety. They emphasized the men were former rivals, both potentially the biological father, competing to prove who could parent better. The heterosexual love triangle from the past became the safety net, proof that nothing inappropriate was happening in the present. NBC greenlit the pilot with massive reservations, demanding script approval on every episode, monitoring audience reactions obsessively, and keeping one finger permanently hovering over the cancellation button. The show had to be funny, heartwarming, and above all, safe. One misstep, and it would disappear. Number 19, Paul Reiser, was the original choice for Michael Taylor.
So I'm in it, and I had these back things. I had these tremendous knots in my shoulders, and a lot of people get those. You know, it's from stress and anxiety.
Can stop my heart as much as you. Tell me all your secrets, and I'll tell you most of mine. They say no.
Before Greg Evigan landed the role of Joey Harris, and before the show even had its final form, producers were circling Paul Reiser for the character of Michael Taylor. Reiser was already building a reputation as a neurotic, intellectual comedian, perfect for playing the uptight financial advisor. Early casting sessions had him reading opposite various actors for the Joey role, testing chemistry, exploring different dynamics. But Reiser had reservations about the premise, worried about how audiences might perceive 2 men living together raising a child. His agent advised caution, suggesting the show could damage his career if it went sideways. Meanwhile, Paul Reiser was fielding other offers, weighing options, trying to predict which project would launch him into stardom. When he ultimately passed on My Two Dads, producers scrambled. They needed someone who could embody intellectual anxiety while remaining likable, someone who could play straight man to a more free-spirited counterpart without disappearing into the background. Paul Reiser went on to create Mad About You years later, achieving the success he'd been chasing. But for a brief moment, My Two Dads almost looked very different, built around an actor who couldn't quite commit to the concept. Number 18, Stacy Keenan, was cast after hundreds of auditions.
You got them! I don't believe it!
Yep. White leather boots with the fringy things.
Oh?
Maybe?
No,
Why not?
because you're too young to start dating.
But Michael said maybe.
Nicole.
Finding Nicole Bradford required seeing hundreds of young actresses, and most of them were wrong. Producers needed someone who could handle emotional scenes without being maudlin, deliver comedy without being precocious, and hold her own against 2 adult co-stars without getting overwhelmed. 12-year-old Stacy Keenan walked into the audition room and nailed it immediately. She had presence, confidence, and timing that felt natural rather than trained. But even after her callback impressed everyone, NBC hesitated. They tested her with focus groups, showing clips to sample audiences, measuring reactions, trying to predict whether viewers would accept her as the heart of the show. The network had learned hard lessons from failed pilots, shows that looked perfect on paper, but died because one element didn't connect. Stacy Keenan became that element they obsessed over, the linchpin holding everything together. When test audiences responded positively, calling her relatable and charming, NBC finally relaxed. She was young enough to be vulnerable, but old enough to carry storylines. She could be funny without trying too hard. She was, in short, exactly what the show needed, and she had no idea how much pressure was riding on her shoulders. Number 17. Greg Evigan and Paul Reiser actually became close friends.
Both of arms and are dangerously funny.
You're good.
So be on a lookout for My Two Dads returning this Sunday.
That pilot season, it was down to 3 pilots. And you know, when you are going to go to network, you can only go to network for one. You have to choose. And one of them was already picked up, actually, for 13, but we chose My Two Dads over that one. My mom and my sister and I, we sat down and we read.
When Paul Reiser finally accepted the role of Michael Taylor, after initial hesitation from the network about other actors, he and Greg Evigan were strangers thrown together by casting. The chemistry between them wasn't guaranteed, and everyone knew it. Early rehearsals felt awkward, 2 actors circling each other, trying to find a rhythm that worked. Evigan was more experienced in television, having starred in BJ and the Bear years earlier. Reiser was primarily a stand-up comedian making the leap to acting. Their backgrounds couldn't have been more different, but something clicked during the first week of shooting. Between takes, they'd talk about comedy, about timing, about how to make the bickering feel real without becoming mean. They discovered they genuinely enjoyed each other's company, that the competitive dynamic their characters shared could be fueled by actual friendship rather than manufactured tension. By the end of the first season, they were hanging out off set, grabbing dinner, talking through scripts together. That friendship translated to screen, giving their performances a lived-in quality that made the premise work. You believed these men cared about each other because they actually did. Number 16. The loft set was designed to feel expensive but relatable.
Me anything.
Can he keep the secret?
I'm telling.
Then on My Two Dads, Joey's down in flames, but Michael's fired up.
We don't kiss in hell.
Did you kiss?
We're talking about a child here, huh? A little child. Now, if you don't want her, I'll take her, okay?
Production designers faced a challenge. The loft where Joey and Michael lived with Nicole needed to look nice enough that 2 successful professionals would choose it, but not so expensive that audiences couldn't relate. They settled on a Soho aesthetic, exposed brick and industrial touches mixed with comfortable furniture and personal details. Every element was carefully chosen to reflect both men's personalities. Joey's artistic chaos balanced against Michael's need for order. The set became a character itself, a space that felt lived in and real rather than staged. Designers spent weeks sourcing props, vintage posters, mismatched furniture, sports equipment, financial journals, everything that would make the space believable. The kitchen was functional, the bedrooms distinct, the living room designed to facilitate the 3-person dynamic that drove most scenes. Audiences noticed the care, how the environment reflected the unconventional family structure without calling attention to itself. The loft wasn't just a backdrop, it was home, a place where 3 people from completely different worlds had learned to coexist, and that authenticity, that attention to detail, helped sell the premise to skeptical viewers who needed to believe the situation could actually work. Number 15. The theme song almost didn't make the final cut.
Here's the judge who brought us together. She lives in our building.
My building. I own it.
She's gonna make sure we're one big happy family with...
No matter what you do, you can count on me. No matter where you go, I'm still...
You Can Count on Me, performed by Julia Reedy, became instantly recognizable, but it almost got replaced. NBC executives heard the original theme and worried it sounded too soft, too emotional. not catchy enough to hook viewers during the crucial opening seconds. They commissioned 3 alternative themes, testing each one with focus groups, trying to find something with more energy, but none of them worked. The replacements felt generic, interchangeable with a dozen other sitcom themes, nothing that captured the show's specific tone. Producers fought to keep the original, arguing that its gentle sincerity matched what they were trying to achieve, a show about a family that didn't need to be loud to be memorable. NBC reluctantly agreed to test it for the first season, reserving the right to change it if ratings slipped. But audiences responded to the theme immediately. It became the show's signature, a warm invitation that promised heart without schmaltz. The melody was simple, the lyrics direct, and together they created an emotional shorthand that viewers recognized instantly. By season 2, NBC stopped threatening to replace it. The theme had become untouchable, as essential to My Two Dads as the characters themselves. Number 14, the show faced constant scrutiny from conservative groups.
It's these golden moments.
Morning, honey.
Sports are my thing. I'm a natural athlete. Aren't you more interested in girls who kiss?
Breaking out of the pen.
My two dads are on the loose.
I'm in big trouble now.
One's babyface Michael, who's very unstable.
Hey, you're out of control.
From the moment My Two Dads premiered, conservative watchdog organizations monitored every episode. Letters poured into NBC demanding cancellation, accusing the network of promoting immoral lifestyles, corrupting children, destroying traditional family values. The backlash was fierce and organized. Pressure campaigns designed to scare advertisers away. NBC Public Relations worked overtime, crafting statements that emphasized the show's wholesome nature. The fact that Joey and Michael were straight men who happened to be co-parenting, nothing more. They pointed to Nicole's well-being, her happiness, her success in school, arguing the show actually celebrated family in all its forms. But the controversy wouldn't die. Parent groups organized boycotts. Religious leaders condemned the premise from pulpits. Some affiliate stations refused to air certain episodes, claiming content violated community standards. Producers felt the pressure constantly, second-guessing storylines, softening dialogue, avoiding anything that might fuel the fire. They couldn't show the men being too affectionate, too comfortable in each other's space. They had to include female love interests regularly, proof that the heterosexual romance still existed. The show that was meant to expand the definition of family ended up constrained by fear of those who refused to accept anything beyond the nuclear norm. Number 13. Dick Butkus was cast for his name. Recognition alone.
And honey, I'm home. We're not moving uptown. It's not fair to uproot Nicole again.
When producers needed someone to play Judge Margaret W. Wilbur's bailiff Ed Klawicki, they wanted a presence, someone audiences would recognize immediately. Dick Butkus, legendary NFL linebacker turned actor, fit perfectly. His name alone brought credibility, a touch of mainstream celebrity that helped legitimize the show. But Butkus had limited acting experience, and it showed. Early episodes featured him delivering lines stiffly, struggling with comic timing, looking uncomfortable in a role that required reactions more than dialogue. The producers worked with him patiently, simplifying his scenes, giving him physical comedy that played to his strengths. Gradually, Butkus relaxed into the character, finding a groove that worked. Ed Klawicki became comic relief, the gentle giant who loved Nicole like a niece and tolerated Joey and Michael's chaos with bemused patience. But the casting was always strategic, less about Butkus's acting ability and more about what his presence represented. He was safe, masculine, a football hero who legitimized the show by association. His involvement told skeptical viewers that My Two Dads wasn't weird or threatening, it was mainstream entertainment featuring people they already trusted. Number 12. The paternity mystery was resolved too early.
My freshman year in college, we were in Key West. It was just me and her and... Did you say one lousy cloth napkin restaurant? And I forget my wallet. I don't...
Where's your date?
Oh my God, I left her in the cab.
The central premise hinged on a question. Which man was Nicole's biological father? Early seasons played with the mystery, teasing reveals, keeping viewers guessing. But by season 3, producers made a decision they'd later regret. They revealed that Michael Taylor was Nicole's biological father, removing the ambiguity that had driven much of the show's tension. The reasoning seemed sound at the time. Give audiences closure, eliminate the will they won't they aspect that was wearing thin. But the reveal deflated the premise. Once paternity was established, the relationship dynamics shifted. Michael had a biological claim, Joey was the friend helping out. The equality that made their co-parenting compelling disappeared, replaced by a hierarchy nobody wanted. Ratings dipped. Critics noted the show felt less interesting, like a mystery novel that gave away the ending too soon. Producers scrambled to recapture the magic, emphasizing that both men were fathers regardless of biology, but the damage was done. The reveal had satisfied curiosity while killing the engine that powered the show. Sometimes the question is more interesting than the answer, and my two dads learned that lesson the hard way. Number 11. Stacey Chionan's real life mirrored her character in unexpected ways.
Oh my God.
I love it too. Hey, first thing we do, okay? We go to the top of the...
For doing television or movies?
I actually like television better. I think it's a better life. It's not 17 hours a day on location.
Playing Nicole Bradford meant embodying a teenager navigating unconventional circumstances, and Stacey Keenan understood that better than anyone realized. Off-screen, her own family situation was complex. Parents divorced, custody arrangements that required flexibility and maturity beyond her years, bringing authenticity to scenes about belonging, identity, and finding home in unexpected places. The emotions weren't manufactured, they lived. Directors noticed how easily she accessed vulnerability, how naturally she played moments of confusion or grief. They didn't know she was drawing from personal history, translating her own challenges into Nicole's journey. Keenan never discussed it publicly during the show's run, maintaining professional boundaries, keeping her private life separate. But years later in interviews, she'd admit the role helped her process her own experiences, that playing Nicole gave her permission to explore feelings she'd been suppressing. The show that was meant to entertain became therapy, a safe space to work through complicated emotions under the guise of performance. And that authenticity resonated with viewers who saw their own struggles reflected back, who recognized the ache of not fitting into traditional molds. Number 10. The writer's room was split. On how progressive the show should be behind the scenes. Constant battles erupted over tone and content. Half the writers wanted to push boundaries, explore what unconventional family really meant, tackle questions about masculinity, parenting roles, and societal expectations. The other half wanted safety, believing the show's survival depended on not rocking the boat too hard. Every script became a negotiation, lines debated for hours, scenes rewritten multiple times to satisfy both camps. Progressive writers would slip in subtext, moments where Joey and Michael's relationship felt deeper than friendship, where their commitment to each other transcended co-parenting. Conservative writers would dilute those moments, add female love interests, insert jokes that reasserted traditional masculinity. The tension created inconsistency. Episodes that felt bold, followed by episodes that felt neutered. Showrunner Michael Jacobs tried mediating, but even he struggled to define what My Two Dads should be. Was it a revolutionary statement about family, or a safe sitcom that happened to have an unusual premise? The answer changed depending on who was writing that week's episode. Some of the best episodes came from the progressive camp, moments that trusted audiences to handle complexity. Some of the worst came from overcorrection, episodes so desperate to seem normal, they forgot to be interesting. Number 9, Florence Stanley stole every scene that she was in. Judge Margaret W. Wilbur was supposed to be a supporting character, the authority figure who'd granted Joey and Michael custody and checked in occasionally. But Florence Stanley transformed the role into something unforgettable. She played the judge with warmth, wit, and a no-nonsense attitude that cut through the show's occasional sentimentality. Every time she appeared, the energy shifted. Her timing was impeccable, her delivery sharp, and she had a gift for making exposition feel like character work. The writers noticed and started giving her more material, expanding her role from occasional appearances to regular presence. Stanley brought gravitas to a show that sometimes struggled with tonal balance, grounding the comedy in real emotion without becoming heavy. She understood that Judge Wilbur wasn't just a plot device. She was the moral center, the person who'd taken a chance on an unconventional arrangement, because she believed love mattered more than convention. Off-screen, Stanley mentored Stacy Keenan, teaching her about acting, about surviving in the industry, about maintaining dignity in a business that often didn't respect women her age. Their relationship mirrored what happened on camera, an older woman guiding a younger one through complicated territory, with wisdom and grace. Number 8, the show's cancellation came without warning.
Was it that look on your face?
What look? What look?
That look.
It's coming.
No, it's still early. Maybe she's still up, huh?
In 1990, after 3 seasons and 60 episodes, NBC canceled My Two Dads. No farewell episode, no advance warning, no chance for closure. The cast learned about it through trade papers, reading headlines that announced their show's death alongside a dozen other cancellations. Ratings had declined, not drastically, but enough to make the show expendable. NBC was rebuilding its Thursday night lineup, betting on new shows, cutting anything that felt tired. My Two Dads fell victim to network calculus, a show that had served its purpose but no longer fit the strategic vision. The cast was devastated. They'd built something special, a family on screen that reflected real bonds off screen, and now it was just over. No goodbye, no final scene where Joey, Michael, and Nicole acknowledged what they meant to each other. Just cancellation, abrupt and impersonal. Stacy Keenan later said it felt like being abandoned. One day everything was normal, and the next day it was gone. Greg Evigan and Paul Reiser tried to get the network to reconsider, to give them at least a proper finale, but NBC had moved on. The show that asked America to accept unconventional families disappeared without ceremony, canceled by the very institution that had been terrified to air it in the first place. Number 7. Paul Reiser used his experience to create Mad About You.
This whole thing is my fault?
Yeah, you're the one who wanted call waiting. I didn't want call waiting.
That's because you don't have that many friends.
I have plenty of friends, but I'm not like you. Oh, what if someone...
I didn't really quite get when we were doing it. The one thing we really tried to do on the show was just to be relatable.
When My Two Dads ended, Paul Reiser took everything he'd learned and channeled it into his next project. Mad About You, which premiered in 1992, bore little surface resemblance to his previous show, but the DNA was there. He'd learned how to build chemistry with a co-star, how to make domesticity compelling, and how to find comedy in the minutiae of daily life. He'd also learned what not to do, the importance of clear creative vision, the danger of letting network fear dictate content. Mad About You became a massive hit, running 7 seasons and earning Reiser the control he'd never had on My Two Dads. He was co-creator, executive producer, and star, ensuring the show reflected his sensibilities without compromise. In interviews, he'd occasionally reference his previous work, acknowledging that playing Michael Taylor had been his graduate education in television comedy. He'd learned how to carry a series, how to balance humor with heart, how to make audiences invest in characters. My Two Dads had been a stepping stone, and Reiser used it wisely, transforming lessons from a canceled sitcom into one of the 90s most beloved shows. Issa number 6, Stacy Keenan, almost quit acting after the cancellation.
Rule?
Well, I had been working a long time, and I am kind of hungry.
It's 1,000 kids, 2 parents, you figure it out. A modern day Brady Bunch type of thing, right? Yeah. You don't like to be associated that way, or?
The sudden end of My Two Dads hit Stacey Keenan hardest. She'd spent 3 years as Nicole Bradford, her entire adolescence defined by the role. And when it ended without warning, she felt lost. Acting had been her life since childhood. Commercial work leading to the television consuming everything else. But the cancellation made her question whether she wanted to continue. She was 15 years old, exhausted, mourning not just the show, but the family she'd built with the cast and crew. Her parents encouraged her to take time off, to experience normal teenage life, to figure out what she wanted without the pressure of auditions and callbacks. Kanan enrolled in regular school for the first time, joining the debate team, making friends who didn't know or care that she'd been on television. For months, she avoided Hollywood entirely, declining audition offers, ignoring her agent's calls. But eventually, the pull was too strong. She missed performing, missed the challenge of inhabiting someone else's life. She returned to acting in 1991 with the sitcom Step by Step, playing Dana Foster for 7 seasons. But the experience had changed her, made her more selective, more protective of her personal life, more aware that television success was temporary and fragile. Number 5. The show predicted modern family structures by decades.
Ow, that hurts!
Oh, Lily, honey, sweetheart, come here. Come here.
If you ever put your hands on my daughter again, I will string you.
And a very young Giovanni Ribisi, who at the time went by the rad name Vonnie.
In 1987, My Two Dads was weird, uncomfortable, something audiences weren't sure how to categorize. By the 2000s, it was almost quaint, an early example of television catching up to reality. The show anticipated conversations about family diversity that wouldn't become mainstream for another 20 years. It normalized co-parenting arrangements, acknowledged that biology doesn't determine parenthood, and suggested that love and commitment mattered more than traditional structures. Those themes felt radical in the 80s, surrounded by sitcoms where nuclear families reigned supreme. But they became foundational to shows like Modern Family, The Fosters, and countless others that explored what family meant in contemporary America. My Two Dads deserves credit as a pioneer, a show that took risks when risks weren't rewarded, that tried to expand representation when networks were terrified of change. It wasn't perfect, often constrained by the era's limitations and its own fears. But it asked questions that needed asking, planted seeds that would eventually grow into broader acceptance. The show that NBC almost refused to air became a footnote in television's slow evolution toward inclusivity, proof that even imperfect attempts at progress matter. Number 4. Greg Evigan's career never recovered. The same momentum.
Perhaps I've come at a bad time.
This is not what it looks like.
Bear Enterprises, we hold anything anywhere, it's BJ McKay.
BJ's mixing business with pleasure with his new lady partners.
Come on, BJ, we can handle it.
It's Smokey and the Bandit, time 7.
Before My Two Dads, Greg Evigan had been a television star, leading man on BJ and The Bear, a face audiences recognized and liked. After My Two Dads, he struggled to find footing. The cancellation came at a bad time, just as the television landscape was shifting toward grittier, more dramatic content. Evigan's wholesome image, his association with family-friendly comedy, made him feel outdated. He took guest roles on various series, appeared in TV movies, worked consistently, but never as a lead again. The industry had moved on, and he couldn't quite catch up. He later admitted feeling typecast, trapped by playing Joey Harris, unable to convince casting directors he had range beyond the charming artist dad. It frustrated him, this sense of being frozen in time, defined by a show that had ended abruptly and failed to launch him toward bigger things. He remained grateful for My Two Dads, for the friendships and the experience, but also aware it had been both a blessing and a curse. The show had given him visibility while simultaneously limiting what people believed he could do. By the late 90s, he'd accepted his career trajectory, finding steady work in supporting roles, conventions, nostalgia tours. The leading man's dreams had faded, replaced by something more sustainable but less thrilling. Number 3. The Loft. Set was dismantled and lost to history.
You want to move to Zimbabwe? Stanford loved me. Don't come in here after 13 years and start twisting around something that was very important to me. She died.
When NBC canceled My Two Dads, the studio wasted no time clearing space for new productions. The loft set, that carefully designed environment that had been home to Joey, Michael, and Nicole for 3 seasons, was dismantled in a single day. Furniture was sold or stored, architectural elements recycled, personal touches thrown away. No one thought to preserve it, to document it, to recognize it might have historical value. In 1990, sitcom sets were disposable, built to serve a purpose, then disappear. Only years later, when nostalgia for 80s television exploded, did anyone regret the loss? Fans wanted to visit the loft, to see where their favorite family had lived. Collectors wanted props, pieces of the set, anything tangible. But it was gone, scattered to the wind, impossible to reconstruct. A few items survived, salvaged by crew members who had worked on the show. A lamp ended up in someone's apartment, a poster hung in a production designer's office. But the complete set, the space that had defined the show's visual identity, ceased to exist. It became a memory, preserved only in episodes and photographs, a reminder that television history is fragile, easily destroyed by institutional indifference. Number 2. The show's theme of chosen family resonated with LGBTQ audiences.
Malcolm, what brings you to town? What, cutting another album?
No. Actually, starting tomorrow, I'm opening for Fleetwood Mac at the Garden.
Ooh. Really?
This is me, Nicole Bradford. How cute, huh?
My Two Dads never explicitly addressed LGBTQ themes, too afraid of controversy, too constrained by network standards. But LGBTQ audiences saw themselves in it anyway. The show depicted a chosen family, people creating support systems outside traditional structures, and that resonated deeply with communities that often faced rejection from biological relatives. 2 men raising a child together, regardless of the show's insistence they were straight, looked like representation to viewers desperate for any reflection of non-traditional households. The found family narrative, the emphasis on commitment over biology, the gentle domestic scenes, all of it spoke to experiences the show never intended to address. LGBTQ fans claimed My Two Dads as their own. Reading subtext, the writers may not have written, but audiences definitely saw. It became a comfort show, something that felt safer and more affirming than explicitly heteronormative sitcoms, even if that affirmation was accidental. Decades later, when LGBTQ representation in the media improved dramatically, critics would look back at My Two Dads as an unintentional precursor, a show that meant more to marginalized audiences than anyone involved had realized. The irony is perfect. The show NBC feared would be seen as too gay ended up beloved by LGBTQ viewers precisely because it depicted family structures that felt familiar, even if the show itself never acknowledged why. Number 1. Paul Reiser and Greg Evgen reunited. Ming Superiora is decades later.
Best idea I've ever heard. I can't believe it. Ladies' choice.
Problem?
The homecoming dance. Nicole finally has to choose.
Oh, wow, Toreador. This is supposed to be great stuff.
It's Joey's favorite cologne.
And no doubt the official scent of the Indianapolis 500.
In 2015, Paul Reiser and Greg Evgen hadn't seen each other in years. Their lives had diverged after My Two Dads, careers taking different paths, the friendship fading into fond memory. Then a television nostalgia event brought them together, a panel discussion about 80s sitcoms. They met backstage nervously, unsure if the connection would still exist, but within minutes they were laughing, finishing each other's sentences, slipping back into the rhythm they had built decades earlier. The audience saw it too, that genuine affection, the ease that comes from shared history. During the panel, they told stories, revealed behind-the-scenes moments, and acknowledged how much the show had meant despite its imperfect execution. Afterwards, they exchanged numbers, promised to stay in touch, and actually followed through. They started having dinner occasionally, talking about their kids, their careers, their lives. The reunion reminded them that My Two Dads had given them something real, a friendship that survived cancellation, time, and distance. It wasn't just a job they'd done together. It was a genuine bond, the kind the show had depicted between Joey and Michael. Art had predicted life. And decades later, that felt like the most meaningful legacy of all. Bonus fact: Nicole's bedroom lamp sold for thousands. At auction,
Nicole, could I hang out with you for a little while?
after the set was dismantled, most props disappeared into obscurity, but one item survived and became legend. Nicole Bradford's bedroom lamp, a simple ceramic piece with a floral design, ended up in a crew member's garage for 20 years. When they discovered it during a move, they recognized it instantly, took photos matching it to episodes, and decided to auction it. Collectors expected modest interest, maybe a few $100s from devoted fans. Instead, bidding exploded. The lamp sold for over $8,000, a staggering amount for what was essentially a department store purchase from the 80s. But it wasn't just a lamp, it was tangible proof the show had existed, a physical connection to a series that had been erased from television history too quickly. Whoever bought it didn't just purchase a prop, they bought a piece of their childhood, evidence that My Two Dads had been real, had mattered, and had meant something to people who rarely saw families like theirs reflected on screen. In a world where most of the show's physical legacy had been destroyed, that lamp became priceless, and somehow, that feels exactly right. My Two Dads didn't follow the script networks had written for family sitcoms. It bent rules, frustrated executives, and disappeared too soon, leaving behind questions instead of answers. But it tried something that mattered, showing America that family could look different and still be real. If these secrets surprised you, hit like, subscribe, and tell us which fact shocked you most in the comments. Because in a television landscape built on conventional families, only one show dared to ask what happens when convention isn't enough.